Parents and guardians, it's time once again for the Fearless Parenting Show.
Hello, parents and guardians. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you know of a resource that I have for you. It's free of charge, doesn't cost you anything. But if you look in the description of the episode, you'll see a link that you can download this 2-page document, and it talks about the different wiring of children, the D style, the I style, the S style, and the C style. And you'll be able to use this as a reference as we go through these episodes, talking to you about how your children are wired and what's the best way to communicate to them. And now for our show. Well, parents, welcome to this episode of Fearless Parenting. Today, I want to talk to you about the D-wired child. The D-wired child. Now, this is going to hit close to home for me because I'm a D. I'm a big time D. And while Ds have their strengths, they definitely have their weaknesses. Today, I'm going to kind of hit on some of the strengths. I may touch on a couple of weaknesses here and there. Ds make up about 3% of the population. All right. I's that I was talking about here in the two previous episodes, they make up 11%. The S's make up roughly 69%, and the C's round us out with the final 17% of the population. But today, I will spend time talking to you about the D-wired child. These are natural born leaders. Now, let me pause right here because when people look at that, they might get the wrong impression. Any child, I don't care if they're a D, I, S, or C, can be a leader. We've all been given gifts. And when we use those gifts to the best of our ability, we can lead those around us. We can lead those that we've been placed in charge of, and we can even lead upwards to parents. Kids can lead upwards to you, and you on the job, parents, you can lead upwards to your supervisors and executives. So leadership depends on the individual and how much they desire to be a leader and grow themselves. But these are just natural born leaders. This means that they're, how shall we say, a little strong-willed? No, not a little, very strong-willed. And we feel the need to be in control. And that sense, that desire for control is a driving force in our lives. So parents, if you got that strong-willed child that's a natural born leader, this is something you need to be aware of. D-wired children's greatest needs are, you guessed it, to be in control. They want to be seen as competent and be admired for getting things done. So parents, you need to, just like with all your other children, position them for success in this. You know, you need to show them how things are done, tell them how things are done, and then let them do it, and then praise that D child for their competence in what they're doing, and you're going to get more of that. And when they get things done, praise them for that, and you're going to get more of that than the negative. Now, us Ds think ahead of a time or ways that they can be in control, and they seem to have a sense for when parents are vulnerable or distracted. Oh, my poor mom, my poor dad. Yes, we do think ahead of time of ways that we can be in control. And that doesn't just end with childhood, that goes into adulthood also. So parents, this is something you need to be aware of. And they will take action that they wouldn't normally take if mom and dad were fully engaged. I know parents, it's not practical to 100% of the time be fully engaged. That's not what I'm trying to push here. That's not what I'm trying to direct you to do, because nobody can do anything 100% of the time, because none of us are perfect. And as I've said in earlier podcasts, it's okay. Nobody's perfect, and you don't have to be perfect. But be aware that you need to try to be fully engaged with your child so that you don't fall into this, so that they don't try to take advantage of you because you're not fully engaged. Uh, I remember if I wanted to ask my dad something when I was younger, I'd wait until he was sitting in his couch and he would read the paper and then he would fall asleep. And while he was sleepy, you could ask him anything you wanted and you'd get a yes to it. Finally, my mom got with my dad, and there was a rule made that none of the kids could go to him while he was napping or while he was sleeping. But he wasn't engaged at that time, and you know, there I was taking advantage of it. So be aware of that, parents. Provide your child with an area where they can be in control, but stand very firm with when that need for control extends to where it should not go. Now, it's one thing to want to be in control, it's another thing to be overly bossy or a bully, because they will say things and they're not meaning to be hurtful towards somebody else, but they have great limitations upon their ability for incompetence or things not being done the way that they should be done. And so they tend to be have not as much grace. I'm trying to think of a good way to say it, but sometimes we don't have the grace that we should have. We don't speak to people the way that we should speak to people, and that's because we're not people oriented. We're more task oriented. So we got to help that D child understand that while goals are good, occasional failure is a part of life. And it does not mean that he or she is a failure. And this is very important because remember, they want to feel competent. And so if they fail without understanding that failure happens in life, and it doesn't mean that they're a failure, over time, that hurt, that pain is going to build up. It's going to erode at their confidence. So it's something you need to start out helping them with, and be intentional and teach them that there are two things in life, and both are good. Winning. Oh, I can look at people out there and say, whoa, 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 Stan, we can't win all the time. Patience, patience. There are two things in life, and they're both good. One is winning, and the other one is in learning from your failures so that you can win in the future. All right. So I'm going to go back. Two things. One, winning. And the second, learning from your failures so that you can win in the future. Now, if you fail, but you don't attempt to learn from your failure, that's not going to advance you very far. Parents, you've got to get that across to your D-wired child. In short, failure is not final unless you wish for it to be. Well, parents, that's all that I have today regarding the D-wired child. I will talk more next week with some other things that you need to know about the D-wired child. But whether you're watching this on Rumble, Facebook, LinkedIn, you're watching it on YouTube, please leave us a comment and like us, as well as leave that comment, because we would love to hear from you. And you can subscribe to this podcast by going to the website below. And that website's also in the show notes and the description of this particular show. And you can click on it, or you can copy it, paste it in the browser. It'll take you right where you need to go. And check out my new book, Fearless Parenting, at parentsbefearless.com. That's parents with an S, befearless.com. You're not only going to get a book and that's it. No. You're going to get much more than a book. I put together a bundle of parenting resources specifically put together to add value to you, because I want to maximize my ability to reach as many parents as I can and help them fearlessly parent. So I encourage you, go to the website, pick up my book on parenting. You'll be glad that you did. And we've been talking about disc and disc styles and how children are wired. If you would like to obtain a disc assessment for your children or for yourself, simply look down into the show notes or the description for this particular show, and you will find a website that you can click on and go there and be able to obtain those assessments. Now, if you have a large family or you look and say, Stan, I just don't know how we can swing that to be able to purchase these assessments and have them for our family, email me. I'm serious. Email me at slewis@inwardjourney.com. Slewis at inward, and that's without an I, journey.com. Well, that's all that I have for you today. So what I want you to do is go forth and fearlessly parent. And until next time, God bless.